People often say, well, should I only show? Should I never tell? The truth is you need a balance of both, but it really depends on the type of story that you're telling. Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back to On Writing. If you're new here, I'm a professional writer and writing coach. Today we're going to be looking at what we can learn about writing from Olivia Rodrigo's song Get Him Back, which is off her newest album, Guts.
I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything.
Oh, she's so angsty, isn't she? She's so angsty in all her songs. She kind of reminds me of Avril Lavigne. She gives me that vibe. She's like the new Avril. Okay, so we get a very specific poetic style to this song. When I look at writing in songs, I'm not looking at it as if it's the next Nobel Prize winning poem, or if it's a literary novel, or if it's an award-winning film. I'm looking at it in its own context. So this is a pop song, so we're gonna look at it like a pop song. Okay, now that that's out of the way. I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything. So the thing that I noticed first about this song was the rhythm. I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything. When you're writing poems, you don't only want to think about how many syllables are in each line, but which syllable is being stressed. Which syllable are you putting the emphasis on? You can see it's I met a guy in the summer. So it's almost every third syllable you're stressing. So that's what's giving it a nice rhythm. Let's hear her sing it again.
I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything.
So she helps this rhythm feel really strong by using exact rhymes as well. I left him in the spring, everything. Those are very direct rhymes. Now that we kind of talked a little bit about rhythm, let's talk about what's going on in the song. This is very telly. It kind of makes me think of a narrative poem. It's going to be less obtuse and less difficult to figure out what's going on. I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. There is no showing about that. She is literally just telling us exactly what happened. People often say, well, should I only show? Should I never tell? The truth is you need a balance of both, but it really depends on the type of story that you're telling. The style of this feels very much like telling is appropriate because it's a faster paced song. She's got a lot of ground to cover. So if she was trying to hint at everything, we'd be left inferring and trying to figure it out and the song would be over.
He had an ego and a temper and a wandering eye. He said he's 6'2" and I'm like, dude, nice try.
He had an ego and a temper and a wandering eye. Whoa. So he had an ego. I mean, we all have an ego, Olivia. You have an ego as well. So he thinks well of himself. He has a temper, which implies that he gets angry easily. And he has a wandering eye. A wandering eye is a figurative way of saying that he has the tendency to look at other women and check out other women, even though he's with her. It's a bit more showy, but it's still pretty direct. He said he's 6'2", and I'm like, dude, nice try. That's more of a showing line. Why is it a showing line and not a telling line? Because she's giving us an example of something that she's trying to convey. She already told us he had an ego, and now she's showing us what that looked like in their relationship. The tricky thing is she's telling us about something that happened with them. So that's where I feel like showing and telling messes people up, because you're still telling us what happened, but it's in order to show us what he's like. Does that make sense? Anywho.
He was so much fun and he had such weird friends and he would take us out to parties and the night would never end.
But, we get but, the conjunction that means that even though what came before it is true, whatever is coming after it is also true. But he was so much fun and he had such weird friends. He would take us out to parties and the night would never end.
Another song, another club, another bar, another dance. And when he said something wrong, he just fly me to France.
So we're getting a sense that this is this has been really fun. It's like the highs are as good as the lows. There's all of these hyperbolic ideas here. We argued about everything. Was it really everything? I don't know. The night would never end. It ended at some point. So these are hyperboles, but they're being used to exaggerate the intense polar opposites within this relationship. It's really good when it's good and it's really bad when it's bad. And then she says, when he said something wrong, he'd just fly me to France. So maybe she's staying with him because there seem to be some good perks in this, lots of fun. Trips to France, but is that really the way that you want someone to apologize? That it don't seem like that's really, he's very repentant of that. No, he's just like buying you off. No, we don't like it. And he had such weird friends. I think that's funny because that weird is not usually a positive word, but she's using it in the section where she's talking about what she liked about him. So she likes that his friends are a little bit weird.
So I miss him some nights when I'm feeling depressed, till I remember every time he made a pass on my
another conjunction, so, which tells us that, okay, now that you know everything that we just said, this is my conclusion that I'm drawing. I miss him some nights when I'm feeling depressed, till I remember every time he made a pass on my friend. So again, we're getting this back and forth between I miss him because sometimes it was great, but then I don't miss him because he used to do this. He used to make a pass on my friend, and when you make a pass on somebody, again, it's sort of like having that wandering eye.
Do I love him? Do I hate him? I guess it's up and down. If I had to choose, I would say it right now.
So there you go. She says exactly what she's been showing us throughout this whole song, which is that there's a mix of this. There's a mix of the positive and the negative. Do I love him? Do I hate him? It's up and down. It's literally I'm juggling both things. That's funny because when I first read the title of this, I thought it was like get him back, like I want him back in my life. But she's saying if I had to choose, I would say right now, I want to get him back. I want to make him really jealous, want to make him feel bad. So she wants to get back at him. That's a fun play on words because she's like, do I love him? Do I hate him? Do I want to get him back in my life, or do I want to get him back as in revenge? I like that play on words. So fun. But of course, Olivia would say she wants to seek revenge. That feels very on brand for her. So let's talk about do I love him? Do I hate him? I guess it's up and down. If I had to choose, I would say right now. Those are very present moment, first person, internal thoughts. So that's her internal monologue as it's happening in the moment. So we call that stream of consciousness writing, where you're literally getting your main character's thoughts as they're occurring. It's a really tricky way of writing because when you're in the mind of a character, it's difficult to stay fixed on their thoughts. Inevitably, we want to tell the story, but if someone's thinking, they're not telling a story in their thoughts. Do you know what I mean? You're not going, okay, well, now I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to go grocery shopping and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're not going to be thinking about that. You're going to be driving to the grocery store and thinking about the thing your neighbor said to you last week and what your cousin's doing over here and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, your neighbor and your cousin. No, like your mind's going to be wandering and thinking about other things while the story is unfolding. And that's what we're getting here. It's a good example of that. I like that she's playing with the double meaning there as well. I want sweet revenge and I want him again. So I want to get him back and I want to get him back.
I write him all these letters and I throw them in the trash because I miss the way he kisses and the way he made me laugh.
So I write him all these letters and I throw them in the trash because I miss the way he kisses and the way he made me laugh. So that's why she's writing him letters. She misses him.
Yeah, I pour my little heart out, but as I'm hitting send, I picture all the faces of my disappointed friends.
So that, I would say, is a mixed metaphor. So the metaphor is not carried through with consistency because she says, I write him all these letters and throw them in the trash, which makes you think that she's writing them on paper. And then she says, as I'm hitting send. So now she's typing them out. So it's just something to notice when you're writing. We always want the words we choose and the metaphors we choose and how we string them through our writing to be intentional.
Faces of my disappointed friends because everyone knew all of the shit that he do. He said I was the only girl, but that just wasn't true.
Sir. So her friends are disappointed, his friends are weird.
This wasn't the truth, and when I told him how he hurt me, he told me I was tripping. But I am my father's daughter. Maybe I could fix it.
Rough. Oh no. Oh yikes. Okay. He said I was the only girl, but that just wasn't the truth. And when I told him how he hurt me, he told me I was tripping. That's what we call gaslighting. No, we don't have time for that. Nope. Again, though, this is all her perspective. So I talk about this in my review of Taylor Swift's 1989 Taylor's version Vault Tracks, which you should check out. But in a lot of these songs where women are bashing men, or where men are bashing women, or, we're just complaining about our ex and venting, whatever, we only really get the one person's point of view, right? This is why it's great when people's exes also write songs about them, and then we can compare the two points of view. But he said I was the only girl, but that just wasn't true. Maybe it was true. We don't know. Maybe she just thought it wasn't true. When I told him how he hurt me, he told me I was tripping. Maybe that didn't even happen. We don't know. We're inclined to believe her because, we feel bad and we want her to have vengeance and screw this guy. But she could be lying and making up all these things just to get back at him, right? Just to make herself feel better. We don't know. And that's the beauty of an unreliable first-person narrator. Love it. But I am my father's daughter, so maybe I could fix him. Meaning you take after your father. You're like him. Maybe that her father had the same kind of approach in his romantic relationships where he thought that he could fix the person that he's with. And that's an interesting insight into this character's backstory. in terms of she is now in relationships like this one because she saw that modeled for her. And that's really what you want to think about as you're developing your characters. Why do they do the things that they do? Oftentimes we get so caught up in who they are in the present story that we're writing that we don't stop to think about, well, what happened to them that made them this way? Even if you just spend some time writing scenes from their past that don't even have to end up in your novel or your story, it can help you flesh out your character more, even just in your own mind. And so you know why they're doing the things that they're doing. But you want to be careful to make sure that there's consistency in how they're acting and that your readers know somewhat why they are the way they are. You get that here with, but I am my father's daughter, so maybe I could fix him. Okay, so let's see. She repeats that. Uh-oh.
His car. I wanna make him one to get
Oh my gosh. That's funny that those two things would be opposite, but okay.
I wanna break his heart and be the one to stitch it up.
So again, it's just that back and forth, that up and down she talks about of, do I love him? Do I hate him? Do I want to get him back? Do I want to get him back?
I wanna kiss his face with an uppercut.
Oh my gosh, girlfriend. I want to kiss his face with an uppercut. So she wants to kiss him and punch him at the same time. That's so funny. With an uppercut, that's good showing, not telling. She's not saying I want to punch his face while I kiss his face. With an uppercut, it's just hinting at punching him.
I need his mom to get him back, just to tell her son sucks.
I want to meet his mom just to tell her son sucks. That's so bad. Olivia! Oh, it's speeding up now. It's a fun beat. A little unhinged, perhaps.
No, I got him good. I got him really good.
This song feels very 2010s to me. It's reminding me of high school, especially with the talking at the end.
Does that sound like a helicopter?
That's so funny. So what we can take away from Get Him Back is some good stream of consciousness writing. She's telling us a story at the beginning. She's telling us what happens. But then it really gets into her own mind and it becomes really more stream of consciousness first person where she's like, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to do. And then we got to talk about character development and giving them a little bit of backstory. In one line, she gives us a real big glimpse, which I always think is so great about songs, that in one line, they can tell us so much just because they're picking the right words. And then, of course, we also talked about rhythm in poems. A lot to take away from the song, which I wasn't expecting. Very fun, very angsty, as we would expect from Olivia Rodrigo. And if y'all have other songs you'd like to look at from her, let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.